Hi, I want to welcome you to fly tying night tonight here at DRAGONtail Tenkara. My name's Brandon Moon, and I'm going to be tying up a pattern I call the Tsuki Futsu Kebari. Okay, Tsuki in Japanese means moon, so I just decided to call this the Tsuki Futsu Kebari. Purple's my go-to color of choice, and we made this a little bit bright as well, so we got a little bit to work with. So we'll get started tonight with that. Tonight we're going to be tying on a Moonlit ML052. I'm going to tie it in a size 14. Feel free to tie this in size 12s, 10s, 16s, 18s, whatever size you choose to tie this in, feel free. So we'll go ahead and get started with that tonight. So I'm going to take my hook and I'm just going to place it in my vise here. It's actually a really simple fly to tie, so hopefully you enjoy tying it and fishing it as well. I'm going to take my thread. I'm using Semperfli's Classic Wax in purple. I'm using a Norvise automatic bobbin. Okay, so I have to spool this up. It's going to look a little different, but you can use a regular bobbin and tie this just as easy. I'm going to start this thread at roughly about the 2/3 point on this hook shank. Okay, I don't want to start all the way at the eye. This is just something that I do. It helps me get the proportions on my fly, make sure I don't go too far forward. Okay, now I'm going to take in a size 8/0 some Semperfli fluorescent green. This is an 8/0, okay? And I'm just going to take this and I'm going to tie that in right there on the top. I'm going to slide that tag in so that it's not so far over. Now I'm just going to finish. I'm going to hold this piece of fluorescent green thread at about a 45-degree angle as I wrap rearward. This is going to help give me a nice smooth underbody base to my fly. When tying flies, it's important that base is a foundation to your fly. Okay, I'm going to wrap this all the way back to the bend of the hook. Now I'm just going to set that fluorescent green to the side. I'm going to wrap forward back up to that point again. Again, I want nice, smooth, even wraps. Okay, and I go back up to that point. Now I'm going to create a little bit of a taper to this body by going rearward again. I'm going to go almost all the way back to the back side of this fly. I'm going to stop and go back forward. I'm going to do this a couple times, stopping short each time of my previous stop point. Okay, and this is going to create a nice little taper to this fly. It's not necessary, but I like a little bit of a taper to the body of my fly. It's just a personal preference. Okay, you can see I've got that there. I'm just going to lock that in nice and good. Now I'm going to whip finish this purple thread. Snip it off. Okay, now I'm going to take this fluorescent green. Okay, I'm going to spin this counterclockwise. I'm going to let it spin for a minute. This is going to help it so that it doesn't lay flat. And I want it to spin for just a little bit. Now I'm going to take that and I'm going to actually wrap this and create a nice good rib effect on this fly. You can see I'm using the rotary feature on my vise. If you don't have the rotary feature, it's not a problem. You're just going to take and you're going to wrap that by hand. It's really not that difficult, not too hard. For mine, I like a dun. This is a dark dun, okay, Whiting Farms dark dun. I like the half saddles. I get a nice variety of different sizes. I'm going to get a lot of feathers in there for my $1, but you can get these in the 100 packs as well. So I'm just going to take one of those feathers that's sized appropriately for the size 14. Okay, so here I have that feather. I'm going to actually take and create a tie-in point right there, okay? But when I wrap this feather, I'm going to be wrapping this side up against the hook. So what I want to do, I want to take about a quarter to even maybe a full turn on the hook shank on that stem, okay? And this is going to help keep that first wrap nice and clean. So now I'm going to take that, I'm going to tie that in at an angle. We'll secure that stem. Now I'm going to come back to that hackle stem and I'm going to go behind it 1 and 2 times. Okay, you can see how that just stands my hackle stem upright. Now I'm just going to wrap forward. It's good to have a nice good thread base here so that your hackle doesn't spin. Okay, now I'm going to take and wrap this, and I do 3 wraps. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. Now I'm just going to secure that in, 2 wraps behind. Now I'm going to pull that back, and that kind of helps pull these fibers back a little bit. Now I'll trim that out. Got a few hackle fibers. Not really a big deal, but just something that I want to clean up. Now I'm just going to take and create that head. I don't want my fibers facing going forward, so I pull them back just a little bit. Now I'm just going to create that fluorescent green head on this. Okay, I don't want to build it too big. Now I'm just going to take this whip finish. I'm going to whip finish this. I want to whip finish it back here on the back side, but you don't have to. There's 2 whips. Take that, snip it down. Okay, so here we've got this. You can leave it just like this as is, or you can take a little bit of UV glue, which we like to do. This is going to really add to this hot spot. It's also going to secure in that knot. And I'm just going to take this Solares in the thin hard. I'm just going to put a nice small amount on that. I'm going to take my bodkin, and I use a bodkin just for this, just so I don't ruin a nicer one. And make sure that's all in there. Okay, now I'm going to take my UV light and cure that up. Okay, so here you have a full moon glow. Okay, you can see that fluorescent green is going to take and add to, I'm going to have to charge the battery on this. Well, that's going to help that fluorescent green glow and light up for you when you're fishing this pattern. It's going to help garnish and gather the attention of the fish. So again, this is the Tsuki Futsu Kebari. Okay, Tsuki in Japanese means moon, and so this is kind of like your moon Kebari here. Okay, So it's a royal moon, seeing as how it's purple. Thank you for watching. Make sure you hit the like button, leave us a comment, make sure you subscribe to our channel, hit the bell so you receive notifications of future videos, and we look forward to seeing you with us next week on our fly tying night. Have a good evening.